everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you are new to Guitars and Gear Stuff, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, like the video, comment down below, and then subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. I get asked a lot by people who know me, like in person, maybe not so much in the comment section, but people who know me in person, they ask me, how do you come up with the songs that you do? How do you come up with different riffs and lead lines and recording? How do you think up all this stuff? And for those of you who do this a lot, you know this process, but there may be some of you out there who are like, I don't even know where to begin on this stuff. How do you come up with a song? How do you come up with melodies? How do you come up with your rhythm guitar parts? Where do you start in all of it? So I want to take that opening track that I did, and I want to kind of show you the creative process behind how I came up with that song and how I started thinking about layering it, and then I'll show you some of the recording process that I go through and how I get it the way I do. So the very first thing that I do is I want to come up with some kind of a riff, something that's memorable throughout the song. And so this song actually started with an acoustic guitar, and I had this little thing in my head where I was starting with a G chord, but I've always messed around with this little and so I was playing this G and C chord thing going back and forth, and so what I ended up doing was wanting to start with and then I was like, where do I go from there? Because I know I want to get back to the C. And so if you know your major scales, then you'll know then you go. And so I started messing around with it a little. That became the main riff that goes throughout the most of the song, the turnarounds, the verses, all that kind of stuff. So that's where it started. And so I thought to myself, well, I can't just play that the whole time on an acoustic guitar, because as cool as that riff is, that does not make a song. And so I had to differentiate between that riff, the opening riff, and a chorus section. And so the chorus section, I went back to the C, walk it up to a C shape, open, but with open, no bar there, and that becomes, on the third fret, that becomes a D, right? So going back to the G, that little suspended there. From that D there, instead of going to an E minor, which most pop songs go, the 1 chord to the 5 chord, the 3 chord, and then the 6 minor. And what I did was I went to the A minor. That'll be more interesting. So you go to C. Then the other alternating minor, there's E minor. So then I thought about the bridge. There has to be a bridge section, right? So I have this opening riff that really dictates the intro, the verse, and the turnarounds. And then there's the chorus. But then I'm like, okay, there has to be a bridge section that, you know, feels more like a solo part for a lead guitar. And what I did was I alternated, instead of going to A minor then the E minor, I switched it around to make the bridge sound a little more unique. So then it's an E minor to the A minor to C to the G, E minor, A minor to C to D. And then I wanted to do a little breakdown, kind of a I had this song. I had it all, you know, put together. So that was the rhythm acoustic part, and that's kind of where I went from there. The next thing I had to do was I had to figure out, okay, so what do I want from a rhythm electric guitar? And so I'm going to pull the camera over here and I want to show you what I did with that. All right, so the next thing I had to do is figure out the rhythm electric parts. So I grabbed my Telly because, you know, if you're going to do a country kind of a song, Stratocaster or Telly is probably the way to go. I could have gone with my Les Paul Special, but I decided to go Telecaster for most of the electric guitar parts on this one. So I had to figure out then, okay, what do I want from a rhythms thing going on? And I usually, whenever I think about sound, I think about what's it going to sound like in my headphones? Not what is it going to sound like as a whole, because if it sounds good in my headphones, it's going to sound good as a whole. So I thought for this song, what would be fun is to have, in one ear, have a tremolo, you know, both pickups selected, just picked out chords. So I threw on, I played through my Vox AC-15. I threw on my RC booster and I got a little bit of a high. So this would have been my clean, both pickups selected, clean tone out of my Telly. And then I put in the RC booster, give it a little extra high end. And then I put on the my tremolo, which is the Electro-Harmonic Stereo Pulsar. And so that's basically, you know, and I played the chorus chords during the chorus, the C and the D, so it was like a. So that was one side of the rhythm track. The other side is I pulled my Stratocaster, my Fender Deluxe Red Strat, and I just played. I'm not going to pull it off the wall, but I just literally put an overdrive on it and put it in. And I just played chords. So I just went, you know, the. Use the full drive 2 by full tone and just played the rhythm stuff on the Strat, not on the Telecaster. So that kind of, and I panned that to the other ear. So if I put the tremolo in the right ear, I put the Strat in the other ear. So now you have an acoustic guitar part for your main riff. You've got this tremolo sound in one ear, just playing open chords, and then on the left ear, you have this like rhythm Stratocaster with a little bit of overdrive on it. So now I've got a good basis for all that. And then, of course, I laid down the bass guitar parts. But then it still wasn't done yet. So whenever I add lead guitar stuff comes in pretty much last. So the next thing I had to figure out was, okay, what do I want to do to round out this sound and to fill it up? So what I did was I took out my slide. I put my telly in open G, and I took out my slide and I added in some little slide parts at the beginning, and then I played a whole slide line through the entire song. But what you end up doing during the whole process is you listen to it and you go, okay, I have all this footage, I have all this like stuff recorded. Do I really want to keep it? And so I ended up editing out a ton of the slide guitar because it was just getting in the way of some of the other stuff I wanted to do. In the beginning of the song, I have this little slide stuff, and then I went back in and just was like, nope, I'm only gonna keep this little part here. I cut out most of it until the lead electric guitar came in. And because I thought it won't drown out the lead electric guitar, it'll just add in that tasty, stuff underneath. So that was the basis, and then you add the drum parts in and all that kind of stuff and make sure it's all working. And playing it according to time, that's a big deal. Like, you gotta play it with a metronome, you've gotta play it according to time, or else it's gonna sound terrible. So adding in all that stuff, and then I was like, okay, so what do I want to do, recording wise, for the lead guitar parts. And so I had this this idea of what I wanted to do lead guitar wise with my telly. So it was, RC booster. I have this Electro Harmonics Canyon pedal that is for my delay. So I had this kind of a thing, and I was like, oh, I want it to have some overdrive on it, so it's and so that became that. And what I really had was I had this and it didn't, I don't think it sounded like that. It's more like that, yeah. I had this line in my head that I wanted it to sound like for the solo part. And so I just worked on that, and you work on it, and you work on it. And then what eventually happens is you just kind of... you press record. You press record on your audio interface and your computer. Then you press record on your camera, and then you just go. And whatever you capture, and you edit it together. And so that's what I did with the lead guitar part there. I got to the end of that, and I was like, it needs something else for the beginning, for the verse and everything. So I grabbed my acoustic guitar, and I just laid down all this stuff at the beginning. And then you go back in. So I use GarageBand for my editing because I'm too cheap for any other stuff right now. So I go back in and I take it through GarageBand and I edit the crap out of it. And sometimes I'll use a lot of compression to get stuff where I want it to go. Sometimes I'll use a limiter, but this time I didn't use a lot of that stuff. I just literally took the tracks. I did some EQ tweaking on some of the guitars to make them sound the way I wanted to. I added some overall reverb and some echo to it. And then I loved the finished product, and so I exported it into an MP4, 3, I don't know, MP3 maybe. And then I put it into iMovie because that's how I edit all my other stuff. And then I took all the video because what I do is I video every time I'm playing. I video what I'm playing through the camera, and then I'll take the audio and I'll add the audio and put the video in and edit it so it layers right on top of it. And sometimes it doesn't come out perfect. This is a part of the whole process. Sometimes it comes out bad, and sometimes it doesn't match up perfectly. I'll be playing something and it doesn't match up with what it sounds like audio wise, and I'm like, no. But for the most part, it does. And so I'll video everything that I'm playing, and then I'll edit it all together, and then that becomes the finished product. So one of these days I'll probably show you how I do screenshots, show you how I edit in GarageBand. But I just want to take you through the creative process of how to do something like I did at the beginning of this video. All right, hopefully that was helpful. And if you liked it, give it thumbs up, comment, and maybe talk about how you would do this if you do this, or maybe something that could help me do this better. Yeah, and then if you wouldn't mind, subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later.